Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to explore a small journey that you have traversed during the span of 10 years. Okay, that is from 2016 to 2026 in the current year now. What are the energies and what have you learned so far? So let's see, who were you in 2016? Where did you stand? What was the essence of your energy back then? Okay, King of Swords. And who are you now in 2026, where you stand at present? Interesting. What are the lessons that you learned in your life? If I talk about your career trajectory or your studies, whatever or wherever you were back then, and however you are making money at the moment, or if you are going to get into the system to make money. Okay, so basically, your career and finances, what are the lessons that you learned on the way? Interesting. And what are the lessons that you learned related to your relationships? Okay, I am specifically going to focus on anything on the romantic side. All right. And how did the equations with your family members change over the years? How have you learned to look at your close loved ones, your family members since then? What's the energy been? What are the lessons that you have learned? Before we decode all of this, I think I would like to see where you were in your soul journey back then in 2016, and where are you placed now in 2026. Interesting. And how has this soul journey been in between? Oops. I'll keep this reading brief enough. I just want to read the basic energy. In 2016, your energy was like this. It could be an air sign also. And it is somebody who has started afresh on the path of their career. And that is why you're raring to go. You had a lot of clarity in your thoughts about where you wanted to be, what would your life look like, few years down the line, and you were ready to put in all sorts of efforts into your endeavors. I also see somebody who is extremely intelligent and extremely energetic. So that is the impression I get when I look at this kind of a personality. Somebody raring to go, young and fresh, full of vitality, and just going for what they want. So, what happened on the way? When you started off, you were at peace in the sense that you knew where you were headed, what you wanted out of life, and you knew that you had the caliber to achieve it. Now, was it right? In 2026, this is where you stand. You are at the cusp of success, and now would be the time you would be looking around you for some meaningful relationships in your life, which is also has begun probably. Maybe you haven't been able to put a finger exactly on it, and you're not very sure about that relationship, but some sparks are already there. And it could also be something that you have started in your life recently in terms of your career. See, enough about the money, but there is job satisfaction that you were always after. So that was an important thing of what you wanted to achieve in life, and this is what is starting in your life as well. So nicely you have traversed this journey from here to here. Now, what happened in between? What happened in between are the lessons that you learned. Okay, the first lesson being in your career, in your studies, that patience is very important if you want to reach somewhere. And it's important to be content with where you stand and not just keep on hankering and running after what you're still going after or what you do not possess. So you gain this understanding that you need to be patient, you need to be persistent, and sometimes it's okay to just sit and relax and take your time out, take a break, and rejuvenate your energy. You also started moving towards stability, okay, in the next few years when you started fresh since then. You also learned a very important lesson in terms of your career or your studies that sometimes, it can be boring also. All the time, you cannot be jumping with joy and excitement and energy. Sometimes your energy was low, and that is when you recognize that it is part of the journey. So that is the time that you decided to take a break and step away, try to see the bigger picture. You knew that motivation will not come every single day, but you have to keep going nevertheless. So, very important lesson you have learned over there in terms of your career. As far as your relationships are concerned, I see that something fresh, something new came into your life, but you got hurt at that point of time. It was too early, you were too young to understand the equations of this relationship. But what you learned over here in that relationship was that people do not just, love with their heart. They're very practical also at times. They want certain other things from the other person that has more to do with the materialistic aspects also. But later you realize that maybe the other person was thinking of a future in the long run, and you were very young, you were still in the stage of building your career, so obviously you could not offer them the moon at that point. So you came to terms with this scenario, you empathized with that person. This is a lesson that was learned after a lot of pain, but you learned it nevertheless, and you learned to live with it, and you decided to move on. Okay, but at the same time, you don't hate this person till date. You could see where they were coming from, and that is why it did not pinch so much. As far as your family members are concerned, I can see that you found them very boring, very dull, very phlegmatic, very slow moving energy, and they would pull you back sometimes. They would be scared to see your energy, your enthusiasm. They would discourage you at times also, maybe out of love. Okay, but this is what you have come to an understanding to now. You know that these are the people you could rely on forever in your life. These are your go to tribe, your own people. At the end of the day, when nobody has been around you, your family members, your loved ones have been there with you every step of the journey. You do understand now about your parents or your family members that they are your ultimate well wishers. So even if sometimes they stop you from proceeding or heading in some particular direction, but it comes out of best wishes and love for you. They don't want you to get hurt by whatever might come your way, so they are afraid of losing you or of seeing you getting hurt in the process. But then you have understood this yourself. I love the energy where you're standing right now, at the cusp of success. You have come a long way from peace, knowing where you are headed, and you were confident about your abilities, to empathy, wherein you understood that other people think differently, whether it's your family members or a loved one, and they have their own point of view about things. And you're standing at the cusp of success. Either it has already happened for you, or you're already looking forward to something substantial that has a potential for growth. Now is the time, probably, you're looking at relationships which are going to be more meaningful in your life, lasting kind of relationships, and this is what is going to come into your life. It could be a person you already know, but now you're going to click very well with them in 2026. Either it has already happened or it's going to happen, so it's on that point. Before signing off, I would like to pull out one last card for the guidance of all the people who have tuned in today. Let's see what guidance comes for them. Wow, this resonates with your success card. Step up and lead. Now you have come at the position, you have learned a lot, you have learned your lessons, you have imbibed them in your life, and you have become a very mature energy. And you are going to do very well in your life. So it's time to take the lead in your life. It's time to decide what you really want and go after it, because it's round the corner. It's within reach now. When you started, it was far off, but then now it's within reach, so you can do this. Okay, anything and everything is possible at this point right now. So all you have to do is step into this power of yours. Don't think things are happening to you. Make things happen for yourself. So I hope all the people who have tuned in today like this reading. It resonated with them, and if it did, I would request them to like, share, subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much for tuning in today. Take care.